welcome to episode 16 of the Practice Squad. I'm Jordan Laroche, joined by Henry Standage as always. We do have a special guest who I'll introduce in a few minutes here. But first, I want to give a shout out to the Bottom Line. We are at the locker room at the Bottom Line podcast studio right in the heart of downtown Toronto, next door to the Hockey Hall of Fame, down the road from Union Station, 22 Front Street. If you're here on a Monday or a Thursday night, grab $5 Miller Lites during the Monday and Thursday night football games. And it's our next sponsor, Miller Lite, the official beer of the NFL in the U.S. Grab a tasty Miller Lite 2-4 from your local beer store, LCBO. Henry, week 11 has come and gone, but you have some big news that I want to kind of get to as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I talked about it a little bit at the end of last week, but yeah, had a show launch day, an audio series called Painting the Pitch Red. So, yeah, if you're a football fan looking to get into the World Cup, especially if you're Canadian, this is for you. It's meant to be a bit of a deep dive, but still something that somebody who's just trying to hop on the bandwagon for the next month can get into as well. So,
what do you actually kind of get into? Is it like the history?
It's 3 chapters. The first one's 85 to 87. First time Canada made the World Cup was 86. So that's the one that came out today. That talks about how they qualified. These guys were working part-time jobs to afford being soccer players. So these guys were kind of heroes, but they didn't score at the World Cup. So everyone kind of disses them now. So kind of trying to change the narrative there. And then the next one will be about the aftermath of the World Cup and kind of a dark period where we didn't make the World Cup for 36 years. And then the last one, the third one, will be kind of the rise again.
I mean, that's great to hear, man. Congrats on the release. I'm excited to I'll give it a listen again tonight. But I mean, you're obviously that was kind of the end of your internship at Sportsnet, then, right?
Yeah. I mean, technically, the end of August was supposed to be, but I wasn't done, so they were like, just keep going. So I don't know. I'm happy to stick around there as long as I can. So we'll see.
That's good to hear. But today, week 11 review. We're actually going to review our picks from before the season, where we look at each division. We had a grading scale, 1 point for each correct team, 3 points for each correct division, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Let's introduce Evan, because special guest, they're going to think it's like the corpse of Zach Wilson or something.
And here he is.
What up, Evan?
Evan.
Whoa, look at that.
Oh, there you go.
I guess you can't see, but we got a cool little screen for you.
Yeah. Give everyone a wave.
Nice.
That's Evan.
Nailed it. That's Evan.
Student at it's X University now, right?
Toronto Metropolitan University
Metropolitan.
Yeah.
That's what it was for a little bit.
That's what it used to be. That's what it was. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, sorry.
You have your own podcast too. You want to give that a shout out too?
Yeah, I do. It's with 2 of my roommates called Game on the Line. We record every Tuesday from 7 to 8. It's on spiritlive.ca if you want to tune in. But yeah, I'm happy to be here for sure.
He's going to be helping us out with some social media work, trying to grow our brand online. Thank you for joining us, Evan.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and don't be mean online. I used Reddit this week, and and I got a bunch of mean comments, and it hurt my feelings.
It never really.
A bunch of people telling me I must be the world's worst journalist just because I asked a question. So, be nice online.
But nevertheless, I'm going to bring Evan down temporarily here. He will join us several times throughout the show, hopefully. And why don't we get into week 11?
Yeah. Good week. I mean, kind of.
I mean, for you, maybe not, but...
not for me, for everyone else.
How do we start with our Miller Lite Game of the Week?
Miller Lite Game of the Week. I had the Sunday night game, which was it was nice to have a primetime game. That was really fun, division matchup. 2 of the league's premier players both playing well. I feel like I hadn't seen Herbert have a good game since week 2. So it was great to see him throwing bombs again. Just having Keenan Allen back seemed to make a world of difference. And honestly, all I want to end a football Sunday is Mahomes down 4 with the ball, 1:26 left. Just watch him cook, and it was great.
Yeah, so there was
and it was good for the Jets that the Chargers lost. So
it was also my game of the week too. But Patrick Mahomes was down 27-23 with 1:45 to go, and he was 3 for 4 on that drive, 67 yards. And I mean, this guy just doesn't look phased at all when the game's on the line with very little time left. There's no one better I'd choose across any sport in the world. I pick over Mahomes.
It's crazy
to close
how
out a game.
Kelsey, 2 touchdowns in, though, is still getting open on like a crossing route. Like, you watch these teams, there's so many teams this year with terrible like quarterback play, and they just make it look so easy where it's like everyone knows who wants Kelsey on these final drives, and yet Kelsey's able to waltz across the middle and go 20 yards, and it's like, I just need somebody who understands X's and O's better to explain how it's possible, but they just make it look so easy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's every drive, every play seems to get opened. But I want to give a shout out to Isaiah Pacheco, 7th-round pick from this year. Had a huge game yesterday. He's kind of become the RB1 de facto there now. But again, just a guy who looks like I don't know. I'd say a 4th-round pick quarterback. So a guy who's just really lanky, not a great build-up, but he had some really powerful runs. I was running through some guys. And
he wears Tyreek's number.
He does.
So sometimes you kind of forget it's not Tyreek.
He does. But regardless, it's just Chiefs take a commanding 3-game lead in that division.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to win.
I actually
right?
think MVP got wrapped up this week as well.
I don't know if it's wrapped up.
Him losing now.
I don't know if it's wrapped up. I mean, I'd say clear favorite, 100%.
Yeah, it's minus money, I think now.
It is. But Mike Williams doesn't finish the game for the Chargers, with who's already dealing with the Justin Herbert injury. It just doesn't seem that they can't really stay healthy right now, and this team, we have a lot of expectations for them. Can they live up to them at the end of the year?
Yeah. Also, should shout out. Everyone was going, Juju's out, and I believe another Chiefs receiver was out. I'm blanking, but like Kadarius Toney, he's about to go off, and all the Giants fans were losing their mind. 0 targets. Just worth noting.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think I did anything else cover that game.
Yeah. Jake Paul, I can't believe I'm enjoying this as much as I am for a surprisingly entertaining game of the week.
And I mean, if you told me that this game would be a brutal game to watch last year, I'd probably call you crazy. But the Rams and the Saints, the Rams taking a 27-20 win there. And the first thing for me that stands out to me, Matt Stafford probably shouldn't have played. There's kind of been this ongoing, he's on the concussion protocol, he's off the concussion protocol over the last few days. And he ended up having to leave the game for a concussion evaluation. It's just a really kind of scary scene to see that the NFL is really having a hard time just kind of monitoring these concussions and making sure these guys are safe.
Yeah, and now that the Dolphins got hot again, it's really weird to think about the Tua situation because I feel like we've all forgotten about it because they've just been like so electric since he's been back. But they're gonna have to change stuff this offseason because it's so weird this year.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we don't like these guys. These can have long-term repercussions, so you kind of just want to take it easy with them. But I think in this game, the Saints' offense finally looks decent, even with Andy Dalton at quarterback, who threw 21 for 25, 260 yards. He had a good game overall, but Jameis Winston's still kind of sitting there. I think overall he is the better quarterback. And if you look at his performance Andy Dalton's performance over the last few weeks, this was a really do or die game for him. If he doesn't come out and have a good game here, I think they go back to Jameis next week.
Yeah, this was, I think, our biggest stay away last week when we were looking at the spreads because good luck. But, I mean, the Rams season is definitely over now, which is probably a bit of relief to all those guys because they're an older core kind of at the tail end of their prime, and it would be kind of weird for them to be battling just under 500. I think you'd probably see them just rest the final month of the season. Unfortunately, well, I don't really care, screw LA, but they don't own their first-round pick. Detroit does.
Right.
In the Matt Stafford trade. So, and there's a bunch of teams in the situation this year that have had really bad seasons and don't own their first-round pick. Like the Seahawks, the best example. They currently, I think, would have like the 4th overall pick.
Yeah.
Or something.
The Broncos up there too.
Well, that's what I mean. The Seahawks own the Broncos pick.
Right. Okay, yeah.
the Bears own the Eagles own the Saints pick, which is weird. The Saints gave up a lot for Chris Olave, who is good, but it was a strange trade. And the Bears own someone's pick from, somebody owns the Bears pick from the Fields trade.
Jeez, man.
It's a mess.
Yeah, I think about this Rams team. It's so top heavy. They have so much money tied up in Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and they're really kind of having a hard time building the depth, getting a consistent, solid running back. This Ramsey it looks like they've hit rock bottom. Hopefully, it's only up from here. But this is the first time in the McVay era they've lost 4 games in a row.
Wow. And I think last year they were extremely healthy, which you have to be if you're relying on all your cap money concentrated on like 5 guys. And this year they just haven't been as healthy, and you can see it. They just don't have a deep team at all.
Yeah. So who do you have for this game?
I had Bengals Steelers because week 1 this game was such a train wreck to watch. Still arguably the craziest game of the year, week 1 Bengals Steelers.
Yeah.
There was doinks. There was missed extra points to send the game to OT. There was Burrow threw like 4 picks, but for like 550 yards. So I didn't expect. I thought that both teams would play more conservatively, and it was just a good game, balanced scoring the whole time. George Pickens played well. Even Pickett looked pretty good. And T. Higgins, honestly, has to be considered the best number 2 receiver in the league, I think, right now.
Yeah, I mean, what we'd be able to do without Jamar Chase, I mean, 150 yards, 9 receptions, a 33-yard reception as well. I mean, that's a guy that's just so invaluable to the Bengals as well. And if you look at the team last year making it to the Super Bowl, he didn't get a lot of praise. But now he's finally getting his big moment in the limelight. And I mean, the last few weeks he's been putting together some performances like this. I mean, he's had over 20 fantasy points 2 or 3 weeks in a row now, I think.
Yeah, I don't even know who the second best number 2 receiver in the league would be, but it's clearly him, where he could be a number 1 for basically any team.
No, and again with the Bengals, I mean, getting this win here, they're 6-4 now. It's kind of starting to see what we saw last year. They start heating up in the later half of the year.
They got a big game next week.
Who do they have next week again?
They're at Tennessee.
Yeah,
in rematch of the playoff game.
Yeah, and again, that's just another chance, another statement game against a potential playoff team as well.
Yeah. Okay. Shakespeare in Love, game most likely to nap to. Who'd you have?
I had the Vikings and the Cowboys. That absolute blowout, 40-3. And I think the big thing that comes out of this game are the Vikings are probably frauds. I mean, it's probably not that surprising. Yeah. But with Kirk Cousins took that strip sack on the first drive of the game, he was never really able to recover from that, and the Cowboys just kept the downpour on him.
Yeah, it was over really quickly. Yeah. I think Parsons had a strip sack in the first quarter.
Yep.
And Cowboys already had the lead, and it felt like the game was over.
Yeah. No, honestly, first drive for the Cowboys, they're probably their best game in the McCarthy era.
Yeah.
And they go up against the Giants this week, who have... And
also, Tony Pollard is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He is the best running back in the league right now.
And he's been sitting on my fantasy bench. I started Jamal Williams, David Montgomery, and Miles Sanders.
True. Well, if I may rebuttal your most boring game, I dare you to name me a single thing that you can remember from the Ravens-Panthers game this weekend.
No, that was up there too.
I actually don't. I had Red Zone on the whole time, as well as I don't think I remember a single highlight from this game. 13-3. It was 3-3 going into the fourth quarter. Just an all-time forgettable game.
No, you're
maybe not as nap-worthy because it was 3-3 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but even then,
Cowboys was over, but
even then, it's still just a really dry game.
Won't be telling my children about this Ravens-Panthers game.
Baker was in, right?
It was Baker.
Yeah.
Very Baker stats: 21 for 33, 200 yards, 2 picks, no touchdowns.
Yeah, that's about right. It's about what I expect from a game like that. But No, there's not a whole lot I can say about that game, Hank. You want to move to our shooting themselves in the foot game?
Plexico Burris Award?
Yep. And I'll lead off
We
here.
have to have the same one.
Yeah, we do. We do. Sorry. Zach Wilson sucks.
Yeah.
Totally incompetent. It's Sam Darnold all over again.
It's so much worse. It is so much worse. Second year Darnold, this team would be 8-2.
Maybe.
I was
Maybe.
there. I was there for both.
I think the real kick in the nuts here is this team's good. They have a Super Bowl level
So
defense.
good.
They have some good weapons on offense. It's just Zach just can't take any accountability. He is out there like everything's totally okay when it's pretty clear. I think he's the problem.
You've probably heard this stat, but in case you haven't, how many yards do you think the Jets had in the second half?
It's not. It's a low number.
Guess.
I think it's like 15, 10.
It's 2. The answer is 2. That's insane.
And of Zach Wilson's 77 yards, I think 34, 35 of them were on one play.
Yeah, and it was a ball he underthrew by 20 yards that Mims went back and got. It was the worst QB performance I think I've ever seen.
Yep.
He had no picks, which makes it look maybe a little better, but he threw 2 here to the
Yeah.
Patriots.
Yeah, and it doesn't make it any better that in his post-game conference, he was
He
asked.
looked like a little.
Yeah, he was asked if he had any part to play in this game. You know, if he's any part of the game that was on him, and he said no. He just said no. I mean, at least show some form of embarrassment or
He was
remorse.
also chewing gum. I was like, "What is going on?"
He's like, yeah, no, everything's fine. And
Why are you chewing gum and being pissy?
imagine being a player on the defense. You keep the Patriots to 3 points. You have this quarterback walking around your room, thinking like his shit doesn't stink.
You've got to play pretty bad to win the shooting yourself in the foot award when your special teams allowed a buzzer beater game-winning punt, and we're not even bringing that up.
Yeah.
That's how badly Zach Wilson shot the Jets in the foot.
I do want to take some positives out of this, though. Quinnen Williams, 8 sacks this year.
So I think he's been as good as any defender I've seen this year, to be honest.
Well, I do want to throw another name at you who's having a pretty remarkable year. Matthew Judon on the New England Patriots. Not getting a lot of hype for Defensive Player of the Year, even though he is second on the betting odds right now. Leads the NFL in sacks with 13.5.
It's the Belichick curse. We just assume it's a little bit of like a system thing.
We do, but I don't know. He's had a couple good years in a row now.
He has.
And, I mean, at this rate...
I'm not saying it's right. I just think we discredit Patriots defenders.
No, you're 100% right. We do. We had the same game for that one. Yeah, you have anything else you want to add?
No.
Just
I got
pain.
nothing. Just that was the worst loss I've had in any sport in a few years, I'd say.
I'd say so. It's probably, yeah.
You're going back to some, England losing the Euros finals. You're going to Raps losing in Game 7, a couple things. But that was a regular season game. When that punt return happened,
Yeah.
I had to go for a walk, and I wasn't even being showy about it. I was had to go for a walk, and it was the worst.
Yeah, I texted you, and you answered pretty harshly.
I don't remember you texted me. I blacked out.
And our Sammy Small, right?
Sammy Paradise.
Sammy Paradise. The I'm ruined game of the week.
Yeah, game that ruined the most teasers, parlays, straight ups.
Who'd you have?
This was a tough week for it, to be honest.
It was.
I had a tough time with it. You'd think I had a better betting week if I had such a hard time picking the game that I thought ruined people. But what I saw a lot of people doing was teasing the Vikings up to +10 at home. Because Cowboys were 2.5-point favorites in Minnesota. I saw people doing 7-point teasers, put Vikings +10 at home, and that was gone by halftime.
No, and sorry, no, we're talking about different games here, but yeah, no, that was just a weird game overall.
Oh, you had the right pick here.
Yeah.
Now that I see it, everyone had Giants -3.
Yeah, sorry, I said a peek again. I zoned out there for a second. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, that was a decent call too. I think that a lot of people had expectations for the Vikings, and after the Cowboys blowing that lead last week to the Packers, I thought some people would have gone the other way. But yeah, I mean, with everything the Lions did last week, breaking all those records, I don't think a lot of people expected their success to continue. But winning 3 games in a row for the first time in donkey's years, the Lions need to be going through some changes in the personnel as well.
Yeah, this was a big exposing the frauds week. I feel
Yeah.
like the Vikings, Giants, Jets all got pretty badly exposed as like pretenders and frauds.
Yeah, and I mean,
My biggest lock of the week was this game being an under, and it just hit the over in like the last minute on a garbage time TD.
yeah, and I mean, a big part of that was Jamal Williams, 3 touchdowns, and it's coming a pretty big thing now. I've heard a lot of people talk about it over the last few weeks, and it's the running back situation in Detroit. I mentioned it before, but Swift only had 5 rushes and 3 receptions. Williams had 17 rushes, and I think it's the most Dan Campbell thing I've ever heard, because Jamal Williams, a very vocal guy in the room, a lot of people love him. That's all the news coming out about him, which seems like the reason why Dan Campbell seems to be starting him all the time. Just pure football guy move.
Yeah.
We saw that in Hard Knocks too. The coaching staff didn't love DeAndre Swift. They thought he could do a lot more, but Jamal Williams has taken this role and ran with it.
Yeah. Journeyman back. He's like achieving like legit levels of fame. I think the Hard Knocks I think he's leading the league in touchdowns now.
Probably, man. He's had a couple of those 2 or 3 touchdown games.
Okay, that wraps up. Evan, you got any stories from this weekend? Any tales from the couch?
I mean, for starters, Zach Wilson, I know that you are a Jets fan, but 9 completions for 77 yards. I don't think I've seen
More
worse
punts than completions.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was pretty embarrassing. And then also, I was going to talk Matthew Judon. Yeah, he's having a year for himself. He's been pretty good. And I think the Rams are just pretenders as well. I think they have had a bad season. It's time for them to wrap it up, because Cooper Kupp's done 6 to 8 weeks as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And Allen Robinson's definitely not that guy to step in and replace him.
No.
We'll talk about it a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'll save it for that.
All right.
Good?
Yep.
Actually, do you want to lead this in? Mm-hmm. Go.
Thrown in a little something new here. We're going to revisit our division predictions from the start of the year. Nothing makes you feel sillier than 11 weeks of football later looking back at how you thought things would shake out. And this year there's definitely been some teams we didn't expect to be in the mix that are fully in the mix. So let's just hop into it now. First division, AFC West. I'll just own up to my mistakes. I thought the Chargers would win this division with the Chiefs rebuilding.
That's not much of a rebuild in Kansas City, though.
Or retooling, whatever you want to call it. And I thought the Chargers loaded up. I thought Chiefs would make the playoffs, obviously. I just thought Chargers would win the division. Then I had Broncos, Raiders, and I wasn't as high on either of those teams as other people. So, although I made a terrible mistake at the top, my overall vibe of this division wasn't totally off.
Yeah, and I mean, I did pretty well too. I mean, I had the Chiefs at the top, and then I had the Raiders, then the Chargers. That's the only mistake I made there, and a lot of that was based off of Devontae Adams going to the Raiders. I thought the Raiders had a really good core, and Josh McDaniels was going to unlock something in Derek Carr. Obviously, that hasn't happened, and they're 3-7 right now. And saving at least one of my points, or one of my points here, with the Denver Broncos finishing in last, having beat them last week.
Right. How did our point system work again?
So it's 1 point for each team that's correct.
Okay.
3 points for the full division.
Okay. So how many points did you secure there?
I got 2.
You got 2. I
Yeah.
got none. AFC East.
Okay.
I had a real good feel for this one, to be honest.
Me too.
I had Bills first, Dolphins second, Jets third, and then I was like, I feel like Patriots are the weakest team, and everyone thought that I was crazy for not having the Jets last. Of course, the Jets are last, even though they're 6-4. But it's Miami, Buffalo, New England, New York. Again, this could all change in a single week. So hard to say you nailed it when it could be completely shaken up next week. But I have no points here again.
So I had the Bills, Dolphins, Pats, and then the Jets in last. And it did kill me to do it at the time because I really wanted to hate on New England, but I just have a really hard time betting against Bill Belichick, no matter the circumstance. So I just had this inkling feeling the Patriots were going to surprise a couple of people this year. I didn't expect Miami to be able to do what they've done. If you watch back a couple of our first episodes, I was pretty tough on Tua. I was pretty tough on not the moves they made, just whether this whole thing was going to work out. And a lot of that did kind of lay on Tua, but he's been undefeated as a starter, really solid all year. And I secured another 2 points there, Henry.
Yeah, well, that's all right, because the NFC... Oh, no, we'll stay with AFC. All right, AFC North is next, and I had Ravens winning this division. I believe Bengals were the slight favorite.
Yeah.
And the Browns people had in the mix as well. People thought they'd keep their head above water a little better,
This was before Deshaun Watson was going to be gone 11 games or 12 games.
So I got Ravens and Bengals in the correct spots, and then Steelers, Browns. I had the Steelers third, Browns
Really?
fourth. They're tied with the same records.
Okay.
So I hardly feel like an idiot, but
I'll
Cleveland has them on head-to-head, so I get just 2 points there.
give you the benefit of the doubt there.
Nope.
No, you don't want
Nope, don't want it.
it? All right. So I do manage to secure another 2 points here. So I had the Bengals, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Steelers. And what I was kind of saying back then was the Bengals were coming hot off a Super Bowl. I thought they would start off the year strong. Obviously, a little bit of early turmoil. Jamar Chase getting hurt didn't do them any favors, but it looked like they're kind of returning to form a little bit now. But again, the Browns sitting in third. That was obviously before the news about Deshaun Watson missing 11 games was released. And the Steelers I had no hope for from the beginning.
Right.
So
That's 6-2 for you.
yeah.
Okay, AFC South. I did not get this one well at all. Obviously, I got Houston last, and everything else off.
You actually you saved me on this one. You corrected me during this episode. I originally mistakenly put the Texans over the Jaguars, and had you not mentioned anything, I would have left it that way. But I had the whole division right: the Titans, the Colts, the Jaguars, and then the Texans.
All right. That's 10-3.
That's no. I got 7 points for a full win. You got one for each team, and then 3 for the right division.
Oh, okay. So you're at so that's 13-3.
13-3.
All right, that's all right. NFC is where I pop off.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
NFC East, nailed it. Philly, I was on
Yep.
Philly to win the division all offseason. Dallas, Giants, Commanders.
Sorry,
You got it?
I got it too.
Oh, man.
And I mean, I was high on Jalen Hurts coming into this year. I think you and I both were, but thank God the Giants have come back down to earth a little bit, because that would have thrown a wrench in both of our picks.
Yeah.
And then the NFC North.
20-10 for you. I had Minnesota winning this division. Green Bay second, Lions third, Bears fourth. So I get 2 points there for the Bears and the Vikes.
I mean, it's a little crazy to think that the Lions are actually second in their division now.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a really, really brutal start.
Sort of. They're going to lose on Thanksgiving, and they'll
Yeah.
be tied at 4-7. But yeah.
Probably. But what I had the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Bears. I thought the Packers would have at least had a pulse. I mean, it just seems everything's kind of up in the air there now. But yeah, I mean, the Lions and Bears.
All right,
we probably
21-12.
Yep. The NFC South. I had the Buccaneers, Saints, Panthers, and Falcons. And with the Falcons winning recently, it's just kind of messed
You had the
everything.
Falcons last, eh?
I did.
Okay, yeah, I had Bucks, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, so I snagged 2 points there.
Yeah, I do too. I get 1 point there. And you want to go straight to the final? the NFC West.
Yeah.
Right now it's the 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams.
I got no points here.
Yeah, I think the whole division's just flipped for me. Like,
It's a mess.
no expected the Seahawks to be decent. No expected the Rams to be as bad as they've been. The Cardinals too, for that matter. They've just been abysmal. I mean, it's just a weird division.
It really is. Okay. So I believe at the halfway point, now the end of the season could look a lot different, but we should write this down that halfway through, it is 22-13 for you, I believe.
Yeah, that's the same number I had, I think. Yeah. But, man, it has been a weird year. I didn't think a lot of these teams are kind of just came out of nowhere, having good years and bad years. The fact that we still managed to get a decent percentage of these.
I mean, it's weird. Like, yes, we both got the NFC East exactly, but it's not like we were on that whole that whole division being over 500.
No, and I mean
Like,
that
the order makes sense, but some of the actual win totals is crazy.
that and the AFC West. I mean, we were really high on the Broncos, really high on the Chargers. You weren't so high on the Raiders, but I mean, obviously we have to talk about the Broncos any more than we already have.
If the Broncos had scored over 16 points in regulation every game this year, they'd be 9-1.
I mean, it's the first ranked defense with the lowest ranked offense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Incredible. Evan, any teams that surprised you this year?
Honestly, like what you guys said, I think it's been a really odd NFL season. Especially some of the teams you guys were talking about, like the Chargers and the Raiders, I really expected to have better seasons. Kansas City, I thought they'd be good, but not at the top of their division. And I think just with the Raiders, they just have so many weapons, but they've had some injuries. They've had a couple. I think that their record doesn't show. Like I actually took their money line this week to beat the Broncos, and I'm not high on the Broncos at all. And then one team that you guys also said, my Ravens. I think a lot of people forgot that they were 8-3 last year before they had their entire bench play from that point on because everyone got hurt, including Lamar. And I think this year they're kind of showing why. I know this week was, your boring game of the week, and I agree it was pretty dull. But aside from that, they've been pretty good. Obviously, they've had some few blown leads, but it's been against good teams. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. I like the rankings you guys have.
perfect.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Yeah.
All right, as always, to close the show, a look ahead to the Week 12 slate. Talk about our pick for each game, what totals we like, what money lines we like, spreads. And we got 3 games on Thanksgiving Thursday. Again, I'm just completely overwhelmed with the amount of sports right now with the World Cup. But quite happy to have these games on one of the TVs all day Thursday. So Bills favored by 9.5 in Detroit.
I mean, that's probably the right call, but even then, I never like taking spreads this big. Even though I do think the Bills are probably going to clear, I think in general it's just a stay away. Maybe an over, but
Yeah, I mean, it's begging for a tease, but I would take Detroit at plus 9.5, coming off 3 straight wins at home. Dan Campbell seems like a Thanksgiving type of guy that he really would enjoy it. I think I would lean Lions here. I wasn't that impressed by the Bills versus Cleveland this weekend, coming off 2 losses.
but then I 9.5 is just
They're
too
not
big.
playing around with the over/under though, 54.
Yeah, and I think this game's just kind of weird in general, especially because the Bills played in Detroit last week as well.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a weird week for them. So I don't think I can really say too much about this game going into it. I think it is. I don't want to say it's a toss-up, but I think it could end up being a really weird game.
Next game is Giants at Dallas. Giants plus 9.5. What do you have here?
I want to say Giants, but again, it's another 9.5 spread. I'm probably. I even feel I feel less confident in this game than I do than the Bills Detroit game.
I really like the Giants here.
Really, the 9.5.
Coming off a bad loss. I don't know, they beat Dallas earlier in the year. I think this is like a field goal game.
I don't know. I think the Cowboys might have a new lease on life. I think that that game against Green Bay was really a wake up call for a lot of those guys, and then having their best game with Mike McCarthy last week. I think they just keep building on these winning performances. I don't know if it's going to be a 10-point spread or 10-point difference in the game. I do think the Giants, Cowboys take that.
All right. Since we split, Evan, who do you like?
Or just in general?
Cowboys minus 9.5.
Yeah, see, I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. I'm one of those people on the Giants that are not high on them. I don't think their record shows the truth.
You're going to take 9.5 points?
I'm not taking 9.5. They're not. I don't know
So
if they'll win by 9.5. I think I'm on with you that it'll be a close game. I think it'll be more than 3, though. So I take an alternate line probably.
All right.
Last game, New England in Minnesota. This is a really tough game to bet, to be honest. 3-point line, Minnesota favored at home. I think a lot of people are going to take the Patriots money line at plus 130 this week. I wouldn't even be surprised if that line is 2.5 by the time Thursday night rolls around.
Yeah, if it goes 2.5, I'm 100% taking it. I do think it's going to be a close game, and Bill Belichick knows how to game plan against mediocre quarterbacks. And with Kirk Cousins, ceiling's high, floor's really low. You never know what you're going to get on a given day. And I think Bill just smells blood in the water here.
Here's the thing. The Patriots offense isn't good.
It's not. But
So if Minnesota can get to 20 points, they'll probably win.
maybe. Yeah, I could see that.
But really, I would urge people to look at the under 42.5.
Yeah. That's probably the only play I really like. Is there news on Jefferson? Is he coming back?
I was assuming he would play, but I guess short week.
Yeah, maybe not.
Probably want to hold out for that. All right, on to Sunday.
The Bucks and the Browns. The Bucks are a 3.5-point favorite. The money line's minus 175. And I don't know. Again, this week has a few weird games. I think this is going to be another one of them. Tampa Bay, they have been a bit of a roll, but obviously with the bye last week,
Roll is pretty generous.
maybe a little bit, but they've been playing better. I'll go with that. And having the bye week, maybe they come out of that with a fresh set of legs, or it kills their momentum. But I do think they do take the win here, regardless.
I don't like 3.5, to be honest. It feels weird to take the Bucks to beat anyone by more than 3. So I would take Browns plus 3.5 here. And I might even try to hit it perfectly with a Bucks money line, Browns plus 3.5.
Yeah.
If you're feeling audacious.
That's a little risky, but hey, man, I if you're gonna do it, I think that's probably the way to do it. The Broncos and the Panthers.
Stay away.
Yeah, I mean, plus 115 for the Panthers.
I might even take this under if it were like 14.
I mean,
Over under 2.5 naps.
I'm hammering that over, but under 36 for the game. I'm probably hammering their under too. These offenses are just a joke right now.
30, that's 18 points each. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
And both teams have decent defenses. I mean, Broncos better than the Panthers, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, under 36. Let's do that.
all right. The Ravens and the Jaguars in Jacksonville. A plus 170 for the Jags, plus 3.5 at minus 110. What do you think?
I
here?
love the Ravens versus bad teams. I always have.
Yeah.
I can't quit it. Easy minus 3.5 Baltimore.
Take it at 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Jacksonville coming off a bye as well.
I don't like the Ravens offense though. With Bateman out, it doesn't seem like they score points very easily. I know Andrew's been out too, but
Yeah. No, well, actually, I'm going to ask Evan. He's a Ravens fan.
Yeah.
What's the news on Mark Andrews?
He's back. He played last week. The only thing is, I don't know if a lot of people, they should understand, but the Ravens tend to be injury prone. I mean, they just get injured.
Yeah, they do.
Every week there's injuries. And coming off a bye week, look at their running back situation. I mean, you have Kenyon Drake come in as the third string to Dobbins and Edwards, and both of them, Edwards had a week off, hasn't come back, but I agree with you with their offense maybe a little bit dull because they don't have Bateman, who's supposed to be really their wide receiver one, but they still managed to score points. I think last week they came off bye week, maybe a little bit slow, but I'm hoping they obviously pick things back up.
All right. So you like -3.5?
Yeah, I still think so against Jacksonville. I think so.
Yeah, I probably take that.
Texans Dolphins. Texans +13 in Miami. This feels like a blowout.
Yeah.
I don't really want to hit a 13-point line, but I think you have to here.
It's
Dolphins coming off a bye.
It's the only play, really, I think.
It's
And
the only option.
I don't like the over-under here either, 46.5. There isn't really a way to tell if this game's going to be a blowout or both teams are going to be able to find some offense, but stay away. Probably stay away.
I don't even
because
hate
I don't like
the
the line.
-13 because if the Dolphins come out and score on their first drive, you're going to feel really good about that -13.
Yeah,
If they're going to put up 35 points a week, they will cover this game. They just score a lot.
not
Take
for
the
me,
Texans. Take the Texans.
Maybe the Texans. Okay, I'll do the Texans. I'll take the Texans here. And the Bears
This is a weird one.
take on the New York Jets.
The Fields is amazing, but they lose every game.
Yeah, the Jets are the favorite here. The under's 39.5 though, which is probably pretty accurate after the last two Jets games.
Yeah, the Jets will be able to stop the Fields ground game pretty well, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
Their front four is really good. Don't love the Jets by 4, to be honest. I think without Zach Wilson, I think if they announced Mike White, I'd like the 4 here. I think overall the Jets are a much better team than the Bears.
Yeah.
But with the current quarterback situation and all the weird energy going on with the team, I don't know if you saw some of the quotes from guys like Garrett Wilson, and people are frustrated. Jets are kind of a wait and see this week, I think.
What?
And you don't really want to take Chicago on the road with a
Yeah.
small spread.
So what do you think is the percentage Zach Wilson plays this weekend?
So Solid didn't commit to him yesterday, and that's a big deal because
Yeah.
that's the first time that's happened. Realistically, he's going to start, but somebody tweeted this. I think Connor Hughes. He's like the scholarship's over. They will pull him in the first half if he's terrible.
Yeah.
So the training wheels are off, but I think he'll start. I think he gets another chance.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably with you there. Evan, what do you think about the Zach Wilson starting next week?
I think he starts, but I mean, as a Ravens fan, a little biased. I think Joe Flacco should come in if he decides.
I
to
hate
be
having
terrible.
a QB who can't move at all. It's so you see the rusher coming and you're like, oh no, Joe.
Yeah, and you know what? But
Wilson
he played,
is mobile. If he's
Yeah.
got one silver lining.
He played a bit at the start though, right? He played a couple games. Flacco to start.
Flacco's 1-8 as the Jets starter.
Yeah.
So my memories aren't super fond of it.
Right, and I know he passes the ball a lot. So if you're looking for someone who is looking to pass the ball and make completions, that's not Zach Wilson because he won't, as we saw last week. Joe Flacco could be your guy for that, and I think against the Bears, this should be a game that they like need to win. That division that they're in is
What's
tight.
wrong with my guy Mike White?
I just like Joe Flacco. I told you, I'm just biased with him. But I think the Jets need to win this week, though.
They
Yeah.
have to win.
Especially they have to capitalize if Fields is out.
The
for sure.
Jets have a very doable rest of the season. They get the Bears, they get the Jags, they get even the Seahawks. They've got some winnable games here to get to 10 wins. So.
And I know the
Yeah.
Patriots have like a difficult string of games coming up too, like for the second half.
Yeah.
So they should really be taking advantage of
Yeah,
that.
I gotta
for sure.
win this week for sure.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a good point Evan just mentioned as well. Justin Fields could be out
Yeah.
for, this weekend as well. He played with dislocated shoulder on Sunday.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Fair enough. Okay.
I guess there's really no motivation to play him.
Not
The Bears
really.
aren't going anywhere this year. Fields has already proven he's their quarterback of the future. Why
Yeah.
risk it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And teams love to play their backup QBs against the Jets this year. So, okay, maybe. That'd be well, then you should take -4.
Yeah, in that case. But then we go to Tennessee, where they go against the Bengals. The Bengals are the two and a half.
Dog.
The 2.5 point favorite. The home dog, plus 2.5, minus 110. Titans are a plus 110 on the money line. What do you think about this one?
I think it's a stay awake.
Yeah,
I think
that's
this
what I was kind of
is
leaning
the toughest
towards.
game of the week. It feels like the biggest coin flip game of the week. Evan, who'd you like, Bengals at Titans?
I don't know. It's the same situation for me. I'm honestly not that scared of the Titans. I think the Bengals are on the upcome now, just like they were last season. It hurts me to say that, obviously because AFC North rival, but I think the Bengals will take this one.
Well, if Chase is back, that would certainly help, and it looks like he might be. The Titans are they just know how to win the games they need to win.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It's true.
And they're at home as underdogs. I don't know, tough one.
Yeah, if the Titans can keep the Bengals to under 21 points, I think they have a chance.
Gun to head, I'll take the Bengals just because under a field goal. And we know the Bengals can put up 40 on their day, whereas the Titans can't.
That is fair. But yeah, if I'm taking anyone, it's probably the Bengals money. Maybe Titans money line. I don't know. The Titans have been treating me well this year.
Yeah.
I'll probably go Titans there. And then Atlanta in Washington this week, minus 4 for the Commanders, minus 200, under 41.5. I think I actually like.
I like Falcons.
Yeah,
I like
let's say that.
Falcons money line this week, plus 175.
Yeah, the Falcons are always that kind of sneaky team, and I think this is 100% a team that they can beat on any given day.
Yeah, this is I think probably my favorite underdog money line of the week is Falcons plus 175, and maybe even an under 41.5 as well.
Yeah, but the Falcons not so much, but the Commanders have a decent defense still.
Yeah.
And Mariota can struggle against a good D.
Yeah. Chargers in Arizona as 4.5 point favorites.
I think I'm gonna go Chargers here. Arizona has just kind of been up and down, really shaky.
Yeah, they looked really bad last night.
Yeah, so and again,
Chargers did show signs of life. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think going up against another pretty solid defense, a defense that's I should say is supposed to be pretty good, with the Chargers, and Arizona's offense has been up and down this year, like I said. So I think I go Chargers minus 4.5.
I like that actually a lot.
Maybe an over. But then again, I don't trust Kyler Murray right now.
Raiders Seahawks. Seahawks at home, minus 4. Good line by Vegas. Tough one.
I think I go Raiders here. I think they might be gaining a little momentum here, and I don't know. I just think that team would beat most clubs, and I think the Seahawks club is a team that they can easily beat, even in a quote unquote normal year for the Raiders.
Okay, I'll take Seattle, to be honest.
All right.
Seattle's just got a lot more to play for, and I just like them at home.
Yeah.
I think they're good at home. Who do you like, Evan? You're a split decision.
You're a tiebreaker.
Yeah, see, I told you guys before, I was fairly high on the Raiders. I still think that the record doesn't fully show, and they're coming off that big win last week. I think they're a good team. You know, Jacobs is good, but at the same time, Geno Smith has been lights out this year. They're at home. I think I'm going to ride with the Seahawks. Yeah.
All right.
Wow, that was a plot twist. Setting up a big Raiders pick there, man.
Yeah, no. Seahawks.
All right. I'm riding with it.
Rams, Chiefs. Chiefs minus 14.5 point favorites at home.
Minus 1,100.
Give me the Rams.
Yeah, probably. I think they can keep it somewhat close, respectably close, within 14.5 at least.
Within 14.
But yeah,
It's probably
it's probably gonna be a slaughter.
I can't believe how unappetizing this game is on paper.
I know, man. This could have been a Super Bowl last year, and these have been the two best teams in the NFL for a few years now. And seeing the Rams in this situation, I should be excited, but I just can't be.
I don't even have much to say on this.
Yeah.
Saints plus 9.5 in San Francisco. I'm not going against San Francisco right now. They looked so good last night, so in control. I'll take them to win by 10 or more. I think it's another blowout.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think Andy Dalton gets totally seized up by their defense. He struggles.
Yeah, they have the best D, and now it's like last night where you see Kittle, Ayuk, Debo, and McCaffrey all get going.
Now they have a truly, truly scary offense.
Yeah. I think there was like a drive where McCaffrey had like 4 straight catches. Next play, all the D's gravitating toward him, and it's just like Kittle on a little post, gone. I was just like, oh, this is a nightmare offense to worry about. Who cares about if your QB can run or not when it's...
Yeah, when you have your wide receiver that can run, your tight end that can run, your receiver your running back that can catch balls.
If they'd picked Fields 3rd overall...
And not to mention, you got Kyle Juszczyk, who is pretty much a running back out there, too.
Yeah.
And the Sunday
Bottom
night...
line's bumping tonight. We got to speed through these last two. They're going to drown us out.
So, the last 2 games here. The Packers at the Eagles, plus 260 for the Packers, plus 7. I go Eagles here. Maybe move it to 6.5.
I like the Packers, honestly, plus
Really?
7. Packers are fighting for every week's the playoffs for them now.
Yeah. But again, this Eagles team just looks so cohesive all year.
Not so cohesive the last 2 weeks.
Not so the last 2 weeks, but I don't know. I think they get up for this game in Green Bay or against Green Bay.
Okay. Just an awful Monday night game. I can't believe this is the Monday. Why can't we just have only good Monday night games?
I mean, we're in flex scheduling now. There's no reason. There's no reason for this.
I know. When teams are injured and it's near the start of the season, whatever. I get it. Why do Steelers Colts have to be the Monday night game? This is a World Cup night for me.
Yeah, it's just ruined my week already. So I probably go Steelers. I think. And even then, I'm not 100% on that.
I'll take the Colts. They've played well 2 straight weeks.
Yeah,
Colts money line minus 135.
They had Matt Ryan back in there now. It seems to be a little more glued together. I don't love that Steelers pick, but I think I'll go Colts as well.
Oh, you coward!
Yeah, call me what you want. The Steelers are a mess right now. The game's in Indianapolis. Matt Ryan's looked okay.
Under 39, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the one thing I do like about this game.
Cool. All right. Well, that's looking ahead to Week 12.